Wikipedia is generally known for being pro-NASA, but on the whole, the site simply echoes the stale claims of propagandists and calls it a day. Every now and then, however, some troll will use Wikipedia to express his emotionally dysfunctional axe to grind. For example, for some time, Wikipedia's entry on Ralph Rene simply stated that he was a moon hoax theorist, had alternative science theories, had 2 basic patents, and was crippled by arthritis. But in late October 2010, I found someone had added this section to the site. A large proportion of Ralph's alternative theories have been reviewed by a qualified physicist who explains the errors with Ralph Rene's claims. And a link to by far the biggest anti-Ralph Rene site was added to the bibliography. It seems the so-called qualified physicist himself posted this. The man is by no means what he claims to be. Whilst I have never claimed that all of Rene's alternative science theories are accurate, the opponent in question has had a serious axe to grind from day one, and has suffered from some kind of irrational and psychotic hatred against Ralph Rene and myself purely because of my association with him. The man hasn't even attempted to disprove any of Rene's moon theories, and instead chooses to use guilt by association tactics and focus wholly on his science theories, implying that if he was wrong about those, he must therefore be wrong about Apollo. It's circular reasoning at its worst. Again, I have never said that all of Rene's science theories are accurate, nor have I ever claimed to be an expert on all of them. But the opponent in question is in no position to question them, considering that he doesn't even have access to Rene's Last Skeptic of Science book. All he has ever seen of Rene's work are little teasers on his website and snippets from pages shown in my videos. He has even gone as far as claiming Rene plagiarized another author regarding the theory of relativity. This accusation is both unfounded and libelous. It is ironic that he can accuse Rene of plagiarizing other people's work when the majority of text posted on his own obnoxious site was copy and pasted from Jay Windley's website and others. For example, this section was lifted nearly word for word from Jay Windley's page on Bill Casing, and more than 2/3 of this page was lifted directly from someone else's anti-Jarrah blog. Interestingly, he even plagiarized yours truly. In his page on Archimedes' principle, he writes, "Archimedes' law is very clear. It states that the force on a submerged or partially submerged body is equal to weight of fluid displaced by the body. That is, the weight of the fluid that would occupy the volume occupied by the submerged part of the body." But that's not what Archimedes' principle says. It actually reads, "Any object wholly or partially immersed in a fluid is buoyed up by a force equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object." The wording that the Wiki Vandal used was copied nearly word for word from an annotation I posted in my video on this subject, in which I reworded the principle as, "Any object wholly or partially immersed in a fluid is buoyed up by a force equal to the equivalent weight of the fluid that would occupy the volume of the submerged portion of the object." It seems that the troll agrees with Rene on something. Archimedes' principle is misleading and should be reworded. He must obviously think that. Otherwise, he would have stuck with the words Archimedes himself used, not stole my rewording of it. It seems Wikipedia's staff have seen this troll's true colours. In searching the history for Wiki's section on Rene, I learned the user in question had started up an entry about yours truly. Wiki's staff had the page, quote, "speedily deleted." This is what they had to say about it. "Please do not make statements attacking people or groups of people. Wikipedia has a strict policy against personal attacks. Attack pages and images are not tolerated by Wikipedia and are speedily deleted. Users who continue to create or repost such pages and images in violation of our Biographies of Living Persons policies will be blocked from editing Wikipedia. Thank you." It's good to know that there are still some decent administrators on Wikipedia. Unfortunately, when Wikipedia rejected this vandalism, the user simply reposted it on his own website. His entire webpage on me is one libelous and false allegation after another, and most of the alleged errors of mine that he lists are abandoned or revised claims that have long since been acknowledged and corrected, or total mischaracterizations of what was said. Some of my claims that he lists are not even erroneous at all, like the statement that Apollo was an unshielded spacecraft, as I learned from Dr. John H. Malden, or the fact that electrons in the radiation belts produce X-rays upon impact with the spacecraft, which I learned from Dr. James Van Allen himself. In addition to his appealing to ridicule, the Wiki Vandal's false accusations about me include, more recently, Jarrah has adopted Bart Sabrell-type tactics, stalking and confronting his perceived opponents using ambush techniques or gaining access to interviews by surreptitious means. So far, this includes Adam Savage, Phil Plait, and Buzz Aldrin. This is poisoning the well. I did not ambush anyone, and I did not gain access to these individuals through surreptitious means. In the case of Phil Plait and Adam Savage, I paid $175 to gain entry to TAM 8, meaning I had as much right to be there as did everyone else who paid to get in. And as a documentary filmmaker, I am eligible to be granted an interview with the speakers. I already explained my encounter with Buzz in another video. A link is in the sidebar. The Wiki Vandal goes on to claim, Jarrah has orchestrated an unabated campaign of hatred against Jay Windley, attacking Mr. Windley through YouTube videos and an unprovoked diatribe of insults at Yahoo forums. My statement on Yahoo forums was by no means unprovoked. In 2005, I joined what I thought was a Yahoo group where people could have an unbiased discussion about Apollo hoax conspiracies. I had joined the forum under false pretenses. The forum is self-described as a forum to discuss Apollo moon landings and the various conspiracy theories that we did not land on the moon, which have arisen in past years. It may as well just read, a forum where trolls can gang up on and attack anyone who even remotely questions Apollo, because the Yahoo forum turned out to be another ApolloHoax.net. When I found Jay Windley was one of the regulars there, I told him what I thought of him. Admittedly, I did come across as a little hostile, but no more than Astrobrant 2 or Luke Coyote San Jose. I guess the trolls can dish it out but can't take it. But of course, this message was written long before I developed a little thing called tolerance. Anyone who has watched my videos will tell you how civil I am when responding to my critics. Even Jay Windley himself, during our encounter on the Internet Movie Database forum, said my style of debating was vastly more civil than the first time we met. It is ironic that the forum describes itself as not moderated, because the forum mods refused to approve my replies to Windley, claiming what I said was, quote, bullshit. When I asked them to verify it was bullshit, my computer received a virus. But that's a whole other story. The Wiki Vandal then claims, others have offered to arrange a peer review of Jarrah's work, without expense to Jarrah. Thus far, Jarrah remains silent regarding this offer. Why should I accept their offer when my films are already under peer review? Before they are released, my MoonFaker scripts and videos are always proofread by a credentialed expert in physics who wishes to remain anonymous. Now, because of his anonymity, opponents will probably falsely claim that my proofreader doesn't exist. But quite frankly, I don't give a damn. Just rest assured, I can emphatically say that my work has been approved under peer review. If anyone wants to review my work, they are more than welcome, provided that they do not resort to quoting me out of context, misrepresenting the facts, or photoshopping my face onto vaginas, or various other examples of juvenile behaviour. My YouTube channels have been up since 2006. I have contacted numerous persons of importance directly to question the reality of the missions, and posted on more forums than I can care to remember. And to date, not one NASA scientist has contacted me to say so much as boo. If there was ever two groups that I suspected would be peer-reviewing my videos and pointing out their supposed errors, those would have to be the leading Apollo hoax debunking sites, clavius.org and badastronomy.com. But a search of Clavius turns up only one reference. It has nothing to do with my work as such, only a comment on Bill Casing's biography. And a search of the Bad Astronomy site turns up nothing. Hell, the Bad Astronomy webmaster, Phil Plait, was not even willing to state my name when he blogged about our encounter at TAM 8. I think that tells you all you need to know. The last thing that warrants my attention from the Wiki Vandal is this. In a recent attempt to post the personal details of this site's owner, Jarrah fell victim to a sophomoric joke made famous in the film Porky's. After Jarrah received information that this site's owner was called Mike Hunt, he released a video naming and shaming an innocent third party and made a veiled threat to stalk the owner of the site. Jarrah removed his video after conspiracy theorists and Apollo defenders alike explained he had fallen victim of a joke. He has offered no apology to atone his actions. This is completely false and he knows it. The matter was solved peacefully between myself and the innocent third party in question. My video has been revised to remove mention of him, and my sidebar explicitly states, "The original release of this video contained an unfortunate case of mistaken identity. The situation has been resolved in a very civilized and peaceful manner, and I apologize for this mistake happening in the first place." I don't need to say any more. Is it really any wonder why the troll's wiki contribution was deleted by the administrators? This behaviour is typical of propagandists. No longer is it about whether or not the Apollo missions happened, it's all about spewing their venom against anyone who believes they didn't happen. Just as I was putting the finishing touches on this script, I discovered that some anonymous editor had deleted the Vandals' so-called contribution to their Ralph Rene entry. And why? The citation for the Vandals' contribution was a poor source. Couldn't have said it better.